I stared at my phone in the empty restaurant, reading the text again. Sorry, Angelita. We're not your priority right now. Brandon needs us more. My promotion dinner. The one I'd planned for 3 months. Vice President of Marketing, at 32. My parents, my sister Emily. All confirmed. All cancelled. For what? My 28-year-old brother's spontaneous party because he finally got his real estate license after failing the exam 4 times. The waiter approached with champagne. End quote. I texted back 6 words that would change everything. Don't worry. I'll handle myself now. The silence in the harbor view wrapped around me like a heavy blanket. This wasn't just any restaurant. My grandmother brought me here when I landed my first job at 22, fresh out of college with a communications degree and more ambition than sense. She ordered the same champagne that now sat untouched in the ice bucket beside me. She told me that day, success isn't about proving yourself to anyone, Angelita. It's about becoming who you're meant to be. I looked at the 5 place settings arranged around the table. Each one represented a person who should have been celebrating with me tonight. Each empty chair a monument to broken promises. 10 years. That's how long it took me to climb from marketing assistant to vice president. 10 years of sacrificing weekends, postponing vacations, attending every conference, volunteering for every impossible project. I worked through my MBA at night, while my colleagues went home to their families. I dated sparingly because building a career in this competitive industry demanded everything I had. My phone buzzed again. Another notification. I opened social media against my better judgment. There they were. My entire family at my parents' house. The photos showed elaborate decorations, a massive banner reading Brandon's big win, in gold letters, tables laden with food. Relatives I hadn't seen in months, all gathered around my brother like he'd just won the lottery. I scrolled through the images, each one a knife to my chest. My mother hugging Brandon. My father clapping him on the back, Emily holding up a champagne glass in a toast. Cousins, aunts, uncles, even my elderly neighbor Mrs. Patterson who never went anywhere. Then I saw something that made my blood run cold. One of the photos, posted by my cousin Sarah, showed the decorations being delivered. I checked the timestamp. 3 weeks ago. 3 whole weeks before tonight. My hands started shaking. I went back to our family group chat, the one where I'd announced my promotion and invited everyone to dinner. 6 weeks ago. The messages were all there, with blue check marks. Read by Mom, read by Dad, read by Emily, read by Brandon. They'd all confirmed. Wouldn't miss it for the world. My mother had written. So proud of you, sis. From Emily. Even my father, who rarely texted, had sent a thumbs-up emoji and, well, be there. But they'd been planning Brandon's party the whole time. They'd lied to me for weeks. Excuse me, miss. The waiter appeared at my elbow. George. According to his name tag. He had kind eyes and gray hair. Reminded me of my late grandfather. I hate to intrude, but I brought you something. He set down a small plate with a perfect slice of chocolate torte. The restaurant's signature dessert. On the house, he said gently. My daughter is a vice president at a tech company. I know how hard you must have worked for this. Someone should celebrate with you tonight. My eyes stung. This stranger showed me more kindness in 30 seconds than my own family had in weeks. Thank you. I managed. You should be very proud, George said. Not everyone has the strength to achieve what you have. After he left, I ate the dessert slowly, savoring each bite, trying to fill the hollow space in my chest with dark chocolate and raspberry. It didn't work. The bill came to $350. I'd prepaid for the premium tasting menu, the champagne, the special dessert course. Money I'd saved from my last bonus, eager to share this moment with the people I loved most. I left George a $200 tip. Had earned it just by seeing me. The drive home to my apartment felt longer than usual. My phone kept buzzing. I glanced at it at a red light. Mom. Don't be dramatic. We'll celebrate next week, Mom. Brandon struggled so much he needs encouragement. Mom, you're already successful. You don't need this as much as he does. Emily, come to Brandon's party. It's not too late. We're just getting started. Emily, don't be mad. You know how hard this was for him. I turned my phone face down and drove the rest of the way in silence. Inside my apartment, I poured myself a glass of wine and sat on my couch in the dark. The city lights twinkled through my windows. Thousands of lives playing out in the buildings around me. People with their own joys and sorrows. Families that maybe actually showed up for each other. I opened my laptop and started scrolling through old photos. My college graduation. Id walked across that stage alone because Brandon had a baseball game that day. Well, celebrate after. My parents had promised. We never did. My first promotion to marketing manager. Id called my mom, excited to share the news. Shed cut me off after 30 seconds. That's great, honey. But I need to call you back. Brandon needs help moving into his new apartment. My 30th birthday. Id planned a small dinner party at my apartment. Spent all day cooking, making my grandmother's recipes. My parents canceled an hour before. Brandon had broken up with his girlfriend and was having a crisis. Emily came for 20 minutes, then left because her kids were tired. The pattern stretched back as far as I could remember. Every achievement, every milestone, every moment I needed my family to show up. There was always something more important, and that something was always Brandon. I pulled up my banking app, something nagging at the back of my mind. Started reviewing my transaction history, searched for transfers to my parents. The number that came up made my stomach drop. $78,000. Over the past 2 years alone, Id sent my parents $78,000. I sat there, staring at the screen, my wine forgotten, as the full picture came into focus. Every emergency that had required immediate help, the medical bills, the home repairs, the car troubles. Id sent the money without question because that's what family does. That's what good daughters do. But now I was seeing it differently. I started making a list, pulling up old text messages, cross-referencing dates. $12,000 for emergency medical bills, but I'd seen photos from their cruise to the Caribbean that same month. $15,000 for urgent home repairs. Their kitchen renovation had been posted all over social media the next week. $18,000 in monthly installments for car payment help. My father had bought a brand new SUV. $23,000 for temporary rent assistance. They'd remodeled their entire master bedroom. $10,000 for various other emergencies that never quite added up. My hands were shaking again, but this time with something other than sadness. This was anger. White and hot, burning through the confusion and hurt. I kept digging, pulled up old messages, receipts, anything I could find. There, a text from my mother from 18 months ago. Thank you so much for helping with the medical emergency. Brandon is so grateful. Brandon? I searched through social media from that time period. Found a post from Brandon, standing in front of a condo building, keys in hand. New place. Dreams coming true. The date matched exactly. The medical emergency money had been Brandon's down payment. I went back further. The home repair fund. Found registration receipts in my email that my mother had forwarded me, asking for urgent help with unexpected education costs, real estate licensing courses. For Brandon. The courses had failed. 3 times. The car payments. I pulled up insurance records my father had sent me once. The BMW wasn't his. The registration showed Brandon's name. Every single emergency had been a lie. Every dollar I'd sent had gone to supporting my brother while he fumbled his way through his 20s, failing at job after job, blowing chance after chance. And I had been invisible, except when they needed money. My phone buzzed. Emily. Hey, can you Venmo me $200 for groceries? Kids need stuff and we're tight this week. I stared at the message. Pulled up my transfer history with Emily. $22,000 over 18 months. Emergency after emergency. Kid expenses. Medical bills. car troubles, utility shutoff notices, $22,000. I called her husband Jake. We'd always gotten along well, talked at family gatherings, genuinely liked each other. Hey, Angelita? His voice was cheerful. How's the big VP doing? Good, thanks. Hey. Random question. How are the kids doing? Great. Emma just started soccer, and Tyler is loving kindergarten. Emily's been on this health kick, got us all eating better. That's wonderful. And how are things going generally? Everyone healthy? Yeah. We're doing great. Emily just bought a Peloton. She's on it every morning. And we're planning a trip to Disney next spring. The kids are over the moon. My heart sank into my stomach. That sounds amazing. Yeah. We've been saving up. Hey, I gotta run. But let's grab coffee sometime. Congratulations again. On the promotion. After we hung up, I sat in the dark silence of my apartment. The truth settling over me like a shroud. Emily didn't need grocery money. She'd been lying too. The emergencies were fake. She'd been using me as her personal ATM while spending money on luxuries, probably planning vacations with money she should have been using to feed her own children. They had all been using me. My parents. My sister. All funding Brandon's life while treating me like I didn't matter except when they needed a check. I got up. Found my nice stationery. The set my grandmother had given me for my college graduation. If I was going to do this, I was going to do it right. I began to write. The note took me 3 hours to write. I drafted it, revised it, made sure every word was exactly what I needed to say. No anger, no accusations I couldn't prove. Just cold, hard facts laid out in black and white. When I finished, it was 3 pages long. Dear Mom, Dad, Emily, and Brandon. Last night should have been one of the happiest nights of my life. Instead, I sat alone in a restaurant set for 5, reading a text that said, "I'm not your priority right now." You're right. I'm not. I understand that now with perfect clarity. I've spent the evening reviewing my finances, and I think it's important we're all honest about the nature of our relationship. Over the past 2 years, I've sent you $78,000. Emily, I've sent you an additional $22,000. That's $100,000 total. Here's what that money paid for. The medical emergency of $12,000 in March 2 years ago went to Brandon's condo down payment. I have the dates and his social media posts to prove it. The urgent home repairs of $15,000 paid for your kitchen renovation, not emergency fixes. The $18,000 in car payment assistance paid for Brandon's BMW lease. The $23,000 in temporary rent help funded your master bedroom remodel. Emily, your grocery emergencies and utility shutoffs happened while you bought a Peloton and planned Disney vacations. I've been your ATM for years while being invisible in every other way. You missed my college graduation for Brandon's baseball game. You forgot my first promotion because Brandon needed moving help. You canceled my 30th birthday because Brandon had relationship problems. And last night, you skipped my vice president promotion dinner for his party celebrating finally passing an exam on his 4th attempt. I'm not angry. I'm clear. You texted that I'm not your priority. I accept that. So here's what's changing. Brandon is your priority. Let him handle it now. Let him pay for your emergencies. Let him fund your lifestyle. Let him be the one you call when you need something. I'm done being invisible except when you need money. Effective immediately. I'm cutting off all financial support. No more emergency funds. No more help with bills. No more loans that never get repaid. You're adults. Figure it out. I'm also changing my phone number. If you need to reach me for a genuine emergency, you can email me through my work address. But understand, I won't respond to requests for money. I won't respond to guilt trips. I won't respond unless you're ready to have an honest conversation about why our family treats me the way it does. I hope Brandon's party was everything you wanted. I hope it was worth it. You chose this, not me. Angelita, I printed 3 copies on Saturday morning. 1 for my parents. 1 for Emily. 1 for Brandon. put each in a separate envelope with their names written in my careful handwriting. Then I drove to my parents' house. It was noon. They wouldn't be home. According to social media, they were at Brandon's condo, helping him celebrate his big weekend. I used my key to let myself in. The house smelled like my childhood, like my mother's cooking and my father's coffee. Photos lined the hallway. Dozens of Brandon through the years. Brandon at his high school graduation. Brandon at various sporting events. Brandon at his first job. Brandon. There were 3 photos of me. My high school graduation, my college graduation, one from my 25th birthday, 3 photos in 32 years. I walked to the kitchen and placed the envelope on the table where they'd be sure to see it. Then I did something that felt both petty and necessary. I took my spare key off my keyring and left it next to the note. I pulled out my phone and took a photo of the envelope on the table. Evidence. Just in case. At the bank, I canceled all recurring transfers, set up alerts on my account to notify me of any new requests, changed my passwords, built a wall between my money and their problems. The cell phone store was next. New number, new SIM card, same phone. I only gave the number to 3 people, my 2 closest friends, Jessica and Rachel, and my boss, Patricia. Back at my apartment, I blocked my family on every social media platform, set up email filters to send their messages to a folder I could check if I chose to, but wouldn't be bothered by. I was building boundaries that should have existed all along. By evening, I felt hollowed out but strangely light, like I'd been carrying a boulder for years and finally set it down. I ordered Thai food, poured another glass of wine, and put on my favorite comfort show. For the first time and longer than I could remember, my phone sat silent on the coffee table. No demands, no crises, no guilt, just peace. Sunday morning, I woke to silence. My new phone had no messages, no missed calls, just the peaceful blank screen of a fresh start. But curiosity gnawed at me. I'd kept my old phone, turned off the ringer, shoved it in a drawer. Now I pulled it out and turned it on. The notifications flooded in like a dam breaking. 37 missed calls, 62 text messages, 15 voicemails. I scrolled through the messages, watching the progression from confusion to anger to panic. Mom, 7 p.m. Saturday. Angelita, we need to talk. Call me immediately. Dad. 7:15 p.m. What is this note about? This is ridiculous. Brandon, 7:30 p.m. Are you serious right now? After everything we've done for you. Emily, 8 p.m. Please call. Mom is crying. You're being unreasonable. The messages grew more frantic as the evening wore on. Mom, 9:30 p.m. How can you do this to your family? We raised you. Brandon, 10 p.m. You always were selfish. This just proves it. Emily, 10:45 p.m. The kids are asking about you. How do I explain that their aunt abandoned us? Then the panic set in overnight. Mom, 2 a.m. Angelita, please. We need to talk. This isn't how family treats each other. Dad, 6 a.m. We can work this out. Call me. Mom, 8 a.m. The mortgage payment is due. We're 3 months behind. We need $12,000 or we'll lose the house. Please, honey. Please call back. I listened to one voicemail. Just one. My mother's voice, thick with tears. Angelita, baby, please call me back. I don't understand what's happening. That note, those things you said, they're not true. We love you. We've always loved you. Brandon needed help. Yes. But we never stopped loving you. Please, we're in trouble. Real trouble this time. The mortgage, the bills, everything is falling apart. We need you. Your family needs you. Please don't do this. I deleted it and turned the phone back off. My real phone rang. Jessica, your mom called my office, she said without preamble. Pretended to be a client with an emergency. Receptionist put her through before I realized. Angelita. She was sobbing. What did she want? Your new number. I didn't give it to her. Told her I couldn't share client information. But she's desperate. Said something about losing their house. Not my problem anymore. Jessica was quiet for a moment. Are you okay? I'm better than okay. I'm free. Good. Because I'm proud of you. You needed to do this years ago. After we hung up, I decided I needed to get out of my apartment. Clear my head. Think about what came next. I went to my favorite coffee shop, the little independent place 2 blocks from my building. Ordered a latte and a scone. Found a corner table by the window. I was halfway through my coffee when someone slid into the chair across from me. Aunt Linda, my father's sister, the one family member who'd always been kind to me. Ho'd noticed when I was overlooked. Ho'd slipped me money for college textbooks when my parents said they couldn't help. I was hoping I'd find you here, she said. This was always your spot. Aunt Linda, did they send you? No, they don't know I'm here. I came because I need to tell you something. Something I should have said years ago. She pulled out her phone, opened a group chat I'd never seen. This is the family chat. The main one. You were removed from it 6 months ago. My chest tightened. What? Brandon pushed for it. Said you were too judgmental and it made people uncomfortable to talk freely. Your parents agreed. She scrolled through messages, stopping at certain points to show me. Brandon, 4 months ago. Angelita only cares about money. She thinks she's better than all of us now. Emily, responding. She barely talks to me anymore. Too busy with her fancy job. Brandon, 3 months ago. She never asks about us. Never wants to know how we're doing. It's all about her career. My mother, 2 months ago. Maybe we should talk to her about being more present with family. The messages painted a picture of me that wasn't true. I'd called my mother every week, texted Emily constantly, asked about everyone's lives. But apparently, in their version of reality, I was the absent, selfish one. There's more, Linda said quietly. She pulled up screenshots from other conversations. The financial stuff. They've been telling everyone that they paid for your MBA, that they gave you the down payment for your apartment, that everything you've achieved is because of their sacrifices. That's not true. I took out loans for my MBA, worked 2 jobs to pay them off. I saved for 5 years for my apartment down payment. I know, but they've been telling everyone otherwise, building a narrative where they're these selfless parents who poured everything into you, and you became successful and forgot where you came from. She showed me more messages. Family members I rarely saw, all believing the lie, all thinking I'd abandoned my struggling family now that I'd made it. Why are you showing me this? Linda's eyes filled with tears. Because I stayed quiet too long. I watched them use you, watched them lie about you. And I said nothing because I didn't want to cause family drama. But what you did, that note you left, it was brave. It was right. And you need to know the full truth before you second-guess yourself. She pulled up another set of messages. This is from Brandon's personal chat with your parents. Your mom sent it to me by accident last month. The messages made my blood run cold. Brandon, she's an easy mark. Always has been. Just tell her it's an emergency, and she sends money. Dad, we should be careful. Don't want her catching on. Brandon, she won't. She's desperate for approval. She'll keep paying if it means we might finally be proud of her. Mom, that's not fair, Brandon. She's your sister, Brandon. She's a bank account that occasionally shows up for holidays. I stared at the screen, my coffee forgotten, my hands numb. There's more you need to know, Linda continued. Brandon is in serious trouble. He owes $70,000 in credit card debt, gambling, mostly, online poker, sports betting, Hess addicted. Your parents have been co-signing loans to help him, thinking they're saving him. They're drowning financially. And it's all because they've been enabling Brandon for years. The real estate license. He needs income desperately. Has already lost 2 jobs in the past year for poor performance and showing up late. Has in crisis mode. And instead of getting him help, they're throwing him parties and borrowing money they don't have. Why are you telling me all this? Because you need to know you didn't cause this. They did. They made choices. Bad choices. For years, you've been their safety net while they threw good money after bad. And Brandon, he's not just entitled. Has sick. He needs treatment, not celebration. But they can't see it. Linda reached across the table and took my hand. You did the right thing. The only thing. Sometimes love means letting people face the consequences of their choices. After she left, I sat there for another hour, processing everything. The lies they'd told about me. The lies they'd told themselves. The depth of Brandon's problems, the enabling that had destroyed any chance he had of becoming a functional adult. I wasn't the villain in this story. I never had been. I was just the person who finally said no. That evening, my new phone buzzed. Emily, how did you get this number? Jessica gave it to me. After I promised I wasn't calling for money, Jessica wouldn't do that. Okay. I got it from Rachel. Please, Angelita, I need to talk to you. Not about them. About me. I'm listening. Can we meet? Please? Coffee tomorrow morning? It'll come to you. Something in her voice was different. Not entitled. Not demanding. Broken. Fine. My usual coffee shop. 9 a.m. You have 30 minutes. Thank you. I hung up, uncertain what to expect but willing to listen. Maybe Emily was different. Maybe Shed actually heard me. Or maybe it was just another manipulation. Tomorrow would tell. Monday morning arrived with the weight of inevitability, my first official day as vice president. And all I wanted was to focus on work, to lose myself in projects and meetings, and the comfortable complexity of marketing strategy. I should have known it wouldn't be that simple. My assistant, Maria, buzzed me at 9:45. Miss Rodriguez, there were some people here last night trying to get into the building. Security turned them away. They left their names in case you wanted to contact them. Who? A Mr. and Mrs. Rodriguez and a Brandon Rodriguez. They said they were family. My chest tightened. Thank you for letting me know. At 10 a.m., Maria buzzed again. Miss Rodriguez, your mother and brother are in the lobby. They're asking to see you. They're quite insistent. I closed my eyes, counted to 10. I could ignore them. Have security, remove them, hide in my office like I'd been hiding from confrontation my whole life. Or I could face this head on. I opened my door and found Patricia walking past. My boss, my mentor, the woman who'd guided me through every promotion, every challenge, every moment of doubt. Patricia, do you have a minute? She stepped into my office, closed the door. What's wrong? I told her everything. The canceled dinner, the note, the financial exploitation, the pattern of invisibility. She listened without interrupting, her face growing harder with each detail. Are they here now? She asked. In the lobby. Do you want to see them? I want to face them. But I need a witness, someone who won't let me get manipulated. I'll come with you. We took the elevator down together. Patricia's presence beside me felt like armor. The lobby was busy with Monday morning traffic. People heading to various offices, delivery people coming and going. And there, by the security desk, stood my mother and Brandon. My mother looked smaller somehow, her face pale and drawn, eyes red from crying. Brandon looked angry, his jaw tight, hands clenched at his sides. They saw me at the same moment I saw them. Angelita. My mother rushed forward. Security moved to intercept, but I held up my hand. It's okay. I'll talk to them. We moved to a corner of the lobby, away from the main flow of traffic but still public enough that they couldn't make a scene. Patricia stood slightly behind me, a silent but powerful presence. How could you do this to us? My mother started immediately. We're family. We raised you, fed you, clothed you, put a roof over your head, And this is how you repay us. By refusing to be your ATM anymore. I kept my voice calm. Level. By abandoning us. Brandon cut in. We're about to lose everything? And you don't even care. I care. I've always cared. That's why I sent you $100,000 over the past 2 years. Money you lied about. Money you used while telling me I wasn't your priority. We never said that, my mother protested. I pulled out my phone, showed her the text. You texted it to me. Saturday night. While you were at Brandon's party instead of my promotion dinner. Her face crumpled. You're taking that out of context. What context makes it okay? I asked. What context makes it okay to plan his party for weeks while confirming you'd be at my dinner? What context makes it okay to lie about emergencies to get money you were spending on him? You think you're so perfect. Brandon stepped closer. Aggressive. Security moved in immediately, hands out to keep him back. Sir? You need to stay back, the guard said firmly. I don't think him perfect, I said quietly. I think him tired. Tired of being invisible. Tired of being used. Tired of watching you fail over and over while they enable you instead of getting you help. You don't know anything about my life, Brandon's voice rose. People were starting to stare. I know you're $70,000 in debt. I know you have a gambling problem. I know you've lost 2 jobs this year. I know Mom and Dad are destroying themselves financially trying to save you from consequences you need to face. My mother gasped. Who told you that? Does it matter? It's true. Isn't it? She couldn't meet my eyes. We just need help getting back on our feet, she said, voice dropping to a pleading whisper. Just this once. Just enough to catch up on the mortgage. Then we'll figure it out, I promise. How much? I asked. 12,000. Just 12,000. Let Brandon handle it, I said simply. He's your priority. Let him be your solution. He doesn't have that kind of money. Neither do I anymore. Not for you. You're a vice president. Brandon shouted. You make probably 200,000 a year. You're swimming in money while we're drowning. And whose fault is that? I asked. Who gambled away $70,000? Who failed the real estate exam 3 times while Mom and Dad paid for courses with money they borrowed against their house? Who leased a BMW they couldn't afford? That wasn't me, Brandon. This is ridiculous. My mother tried again. Family helps family. That's what we do. You're right, I said. That's what family does. They show up for each other. They celebrate each other's successes. They don't lie. They don't use. They don't make someone feel invisible except when they need money. You taught me what family isn't supposed to be. Thank you for the lesson. Patricia stepped forward then, her voice cool and professional. This is a place of business. You need to leave. Now. Or we'll call the police. You can't throw us out. Brandon moved toward me again. Security grabbed his arms. Sir, you need to leave immediately. My mother started crying harder. Your grandmother would be so ashamed of you right now. The words hit like a physical blow. I felt tears burn behind my eyes, but I held them back. Grandma taught me self-respect, I said, my voice shaking slightly. She told me never to let people use me. She said that real love doesn't come with conditions and price tags. I'm honoring her memory by finally listening to what she tried to teach me. Security was moving Brandon toward the door. He twisted back, shouting, This isn't over. You owe us. Everything you have. You owe to us. My mother followed, still crying, looking back at me with wounded eyes. When they were gone, when the lobby had returned to normal, and curious onlookers went back to their business, Patricia put her hand on my shoulder. Let's go to my office. Upstairs. She closed the door and pointed to her couch, made me tea with shaking hands while I tried to process what had just happened. I'm proud of you, she said simply. I know that was hard. I feel like I'm going to throw up. That's normal. You just set boundaries with people who've been violating them your entire life. It's supposed to feel uncomfortable. My mother said my grandmother would be ashamed. Your grandmother would be proud. Trust me, I know exactly what she would say because I went through something similar with my sister 20 years ago. She told me her story, how her younger sister had been the family favorite, the one who could do no wrong while Patricia worked herself to the bone, how the demands for money escalated, how the manipulation deepened, how she finally walked away. It's been 20 years, Patricia said. We have a relationship now, but only because I held my boundaries. She had to hit bottom, had to face reality. It took 3 years, but she got help, got her life together, and we rebuilt on honest ground. But if Id kept enabling her, she'd be dead or in jail right now. Sometimes love means letting people fall. We sat together in silence for a while, drinking tea, letting the adrenaline fade. Take the rest of the day if you need it, Patricia offered. No, I want to work. I need to think about something else. At 3 p.m., Maria buzzed again. Miss Rodriguez, there's an Emily Martinez here to see you. She says she's your sister. She's not demanding anything. She asked very politely if you have a moment. I can send her away if you'd like. I thought about the morning coffee meeting that had never happened. It waited until 9:30 before giving up. Send her up! Emily appeared at my door minutes later. She looked terrible. Hair uncombed, no makeup, clothes wrinkled, nothing like the put-together suburban mom she usually presented. I'm sorry, she said immediately. About this morning. About everything. Can I sit? I nodded to the chair across from my desk. I didn't come this morning because I was ashamed. She started. I've been up all night. Told Jake everything. About the money. About the lies. All of it. How did he take it? Hes furious. Not at you. At me. We've been talking about separation. Good, I thought, but didn't say. I have a gambling problem. Emily continued, words tumbling out fast. Online poker. Started 3 years ago. Lost everything we had saved. Started borrowing from you to cover it up. The groceries, the emergencies, all lies. I'm $62,000 in debt total. I sat back in my chair. 62,000. I need help. Real help. Not money. I need a therapist, a program. Something. I don't know where to start, but I can't keep doing this. Jake said if I don't get help, he's taking the kids and leaving. And he's right. I'm destroying our family. This was different. This wasn't manipulation or demands. This was someone hitting bottom. I'm not giving you money, I said clearly. I know. I'm not asking for that. I'm asking if you know where to start. How to find help. You always know how to figure things out. I pulled up my computer. Started searching. Gambling addiction treatment programs. Support groups. Therapists who specialized in addiction. I wrote down names, numbers, websites, printed them out and handed them to her. Start here. Call every single one. Find a therapist this week. Join a support group. And tell Jake everything. Today. Hell leave me. Maybe. Or maybe hell stand by you while you fix this. But you have to fix it. You have to do the work. Nobody can do it for you. I'm sorry, Angelita. For everything. For using you. For lying. For being a terrible sister. I know. Do you forgive me? Ask me again in 6 months. After you've proven you're serious about changing. She nodded, clutching the papers I'd given her. Thank you. After she left, I sat at my desk and cried. Not from sadness, from exhaustion, from the weight of years of carrying people who never wanted to walk on their own, but also from hope. Because Emily had asked for help, not money. Shed admitted the truth. Maybe, just maybe, something good could come from this wreckage. My phone buzzed. A text from Emily's husband, Jake. Thank you for not giving her money. Thank you for forcing her to face this. We're going to get through it. And you're welcome at our house anytime. The kids miss their aunt. I smiled through my tears. One small victory in the middle of the war. Wednesday morning, 3 days after Id left the note, Aunt Linda called. Can you meet me for coffee? Today? It's important. There was something in her voice. Urgency mixed with something else. Relief, maybe. I met her at noon at the same coffee shop where Shed found me Sunday. She was already there. 2 lattes ordered. A folder on the table between us. The family is imploding, she said without preamble. I thought you should know what's happening. She opened the folder. Inside were printed bank statements, legal documents, screenshots of messages. Your parents are $93,000 in debt, she started. Credit cards, personal loans, a second mortgage they took out 2 years ago. They're 4 months behind on their first mortgage. The bank is starting foreclosure proceedings. They're going to lose the house. How did you get all this? Your uncle Marcus has a lawyer, remember? Your dad finally broke down and asked for advice. Marcus reviewed everything and realized the extent of the damage. He shared it with me because he thought you deserved to know the truth. She spread out the documents. The numbers were staggering. Every month for the past 2 years showed massive outflows. Payments to Brandon. Loans co-signed for Brandon. Credit card debt in Brandon's name that they were paying. They've been destroying themselves to enable him, Linda said. And he's been letting them. Actually, worse than letting them. Encouraging them. Demanding from them. She pulled out her phone, played a voice recording. Brandon's voice. Angry and entitled. You're my parents. You're supposed to help me, if you loved me. You'd do whatever it takes. My father's voice, tired and defeated. Brandon, we don't have anything left. We've given you everything. Brandon, then borrow more. Refinance the house again. Figure it out. The recording ended. I felt sick. When was this? Last week. Your dad recorded it because he wanted proof of what was happening. Hez finally starting to see that they created a monster. Linda pulled out more documents. But it gets worse. Brandon's real estate license? Hez being investigated. Turns out he lied on his applications. Said Head worked places he never worked. Claimed sales he never made. His broker discovered the lies and reported him. Hez probably going to lose the license before he even makes his first sale. And the condo. Foreclosure notice arrived yesterday. He hasn't paid the mortgage in 5 months. Has been using the money your parents sent him for gambling. Online poker, sports betting, trips to casinos. Hez in complete freefall. How are Mom and Dad handling all this? Not well. They're finally facing the reality that they enabled this. That their help destroyed him. Your mother called me crying yesterday. Said she didn't know how they'd gotten to this point. Your dad is barely speaking. He goes to work, comes home, sits in his chair. Hez shutting down. Linda pulled out more screenshots. But here's what you really need to see. Your family's group chat. The one you're not in. It's exploded over the past 3 days. She scrolled through message after message. Cousins, aunts, uncles. All weighing in on what had happened. Cousin Sarah. Wait. Angelita has been sending them money this whole time? I thought they said they were financially stable. Uncle Marcus. She sent them over $100,000 in 2 years. They lied to everyone about it. Cousin Derek. So when they said they couldn't help with Grandma's funeral costs, they actually had money? They just chose to give it to Brandon instead. Aunt Helen. This is disgusting. We've all been thinking Angelita was this selfish career woman who forgot her family. But she's been supporting them while they lied about her. The messages went on and on. The family narrative was crumbling. The lies were being exposed. People who'd believed I was the problem were realizing the truth. Then Linda showed me something that made my blood boil. A message from 2 days ago. My cousin Derek had confronted Brandon at a family gathering. Derek. Dude, you need to get your act together. This is embarrassing. Brandon's response. Caught on Derek's phone recording because he couldn't believe what he was hearing. She was an easy mark, always desperate for their approval. I just had to look struggling and Shed send money. It was like having my own ATM. Derek. You're talking about your sister, Brandon. I'm talking about a cash source that finally dried up. Whatever. I'll figure something else out. The recording played on Linda's phone. Brandon's voice, cold and calculating, talking about me like I was nothing more than a means to an end. Derek sent this to the whole family group, Linda said. Everyone heard it. Everyone knows now what he really is. What he really thinks. She showed me the responses. Cousin Sarah. I'm done with him. This is sociopath behavior. Uncle Marcus. I'm ashamed to share DNA with him. Aunt Helen. Someone needs to get that boy serious psychological help. Even responses from my parents. Dad. I don't know my own son. Mom. What have we done? They're facing reality, Linda said gently. All of them. Your parents, the extended family, everyone. The illusion is shattered. Is that supposed to make me feel better? No, it's supposed to help you understand that you weren't wrong. You weren't cruel. You didn't overreact. You responded appropriately to people who were using you. And now they're facing the consequences. She pulled out one last piece of paper. A handwritten note. Your parents asked me to give you this. I told them I would, but that I wouldn't pressure you to respond. I took the note but didn't open it. Not yet. There's one more thing, Linda said. They want to meet with you. No demands. No requests for money. Just to talk. I told them I'd ask, but that I'd support whatever decision you make. I don't know. You don't have to decide now. Think about it. But Angelita, whatever you choose, I'm proud of you. You did something none of us had the courage to do. You stopped the cycle. You forced everyone to face the truth. After she left, I sat with the unopened note for an hour. Finally, I unfolded it. The handwriting was my father's. Angelita, we failed you. Not just Saturday night. For years, we chose Brandon over you again and again. And we told ourselves we were being fair. We told ourselves you didn't need us because you were strong. We were wrong. You were strong because you had to be. Because we forced you to be. We took your strength for granted and your generosity for weakness. We let Brandon manipulate us and used you as the solution to problems we created. We're not asking for money. We're not asking for help with the house or the bills or any of it. We're going to face what we've done and figure it out ourselves. We're asking if you'd be willing to meet with us. Just to talk. Just to listen to what we need to say and to hear what you need to say. If you say no, well, understand. We deserve your no. But if you're willing, well, be grateful for the chance. We love you. We always have. We just forgot to show it. Dad, I folded the note carefully and put it in my desk drawer. I needed time to think. That evening, my phone buzzed. Emily, Jake and I are going to counseling. I called every number you gave me. I have my first therapy appointment tomorrow. I'm telling Mom and Dad about the gambling this weekend. I'm facing it. All of it. Thank you. Another text came through. Jake, she's really doing it. She's being honest for the first time in years. I'm staying. We're going to fight for our marriage. Thank you for giving her tough love. She needed it. Small victories. Small steps toward healing. Maybe. Just maybe. Breaking everything was the only way to rebuild it right. Saturday afternoon. 1 week after Eid left the note, I found myself driving to Patterson Park. Linda had arranged everything. Neutral territory, public place, her as mediator. Part of me wanted to let them stew in the consequences forever, to never give them the absolution they were seeking. But another part of me, the part that remembered my grandmother's wisdom, knew that holding on to anger forever would poison only me. I wasn't meeting them to forgive them. I was meeting them for closure, to say what I needed to say, to hear what they had to say, and then to decide, on my own terms, what came next. They were already there when I arrived, sitting at a picnic table in a quiet corner of the park, away from the playground noise and weekend crowds. My parents looked like they'd aged 10 years in 1 week. My father's shoulders slumped forward, defeat written in every line of his body. My mother's eyes were red-rimmed and hollow. Linda stood nearby, close enough to intervene if needed, far enough to give us space. I sat down across from them. Didn't say hello. Just waited. My father spoke first. That alone was significant. My mother had always been the talker, the emoter, the one who filled silences with words. Seeing my father take the lead told me something had fundamentally shifted. "Angelita," he started, his voice rough. "We owe you an apology. A real one. Not the kind where we explain or justify or try to make you understand. The kind where we just say, 'We were wrong. We failed you. We're sorry.'" My mother nodded, tears already streaming down her face. "For 10 years, we've watched you work yourself to exhaustion," my father continued. "We've watched you sacrifice and achieve and climb higher than we ever dreamed. And instead of celebrating you, instead of being proud, instead of showing up for you, we took you for granted. We assumed you'd always be okay, because you always had been. We forgot that you were okay because you had to be. Because we failed to support you." He paused, swallowed hard. "We saw Brandon struggling and convinced ourselves that he needed us more, that you were strong enough to handle being overlooked. We told ourselves we were being fair, spreading our attention where it was needed most. We lied to ourselves, and we lied to you." My mother spoke then, her voice breaking. "We turned you into a piggy bank. Every time we needed money, we came to you. We made up emergencies. We manipulated you. We used your love for us as a weapon against you. And we told ourselves it was okay because you could afford it, because you'd understand, because that's what family does. But we forgot." My father cut in. "That family also shows up. Family celebrates. Family says you matter. We forgot the basics while we focused on the crisis. And Brandon was always in crisis because we kept saving him from consequences." I still hadn't spoken, just listened, watching them carefully for signs of manipulation, for the guilt trip I expected. It didn't come. "We created Brandon's problems," my father said, "by always rescuing him. We taught him he'd never have to rescue himself. We robbed him of the chance to grow up, to face failure, to build resilience. We destroyed him while thinking we were loving him, and we destroyed our relationship with you in the process." My mother reached across the table like she wanted to take my hand, then pulled back. "That dinner, your promotion, there's no excuse. We planned Brandon's party weeks before. We lied to you. We chose wrong. And when you called us out on it, instead of apologizing and changing, we got defensive. We attacked you. We made you the villain. We're not asking for money," my father said firmly. "We're selling the house, downsizing to something we can actually afford. We're both getting second jobs. We're going to pay our own debts. Brandon's problems are his to solve now. We're getting him into treatment," my mother added, "whether he wants it or not. Uncle Marcus is helping us, legally. Brandon has addiction issues, gambling specifically. He needs professional help. We're done enabling him." She wiped her eyes. "We don't expect you to forgive us, Angelita. We don't expect anything, but we need you to know. We love you. We're proud of you. We always should have shown it, and we didn't. That's on us. Not you. Never you." The words I'd waited my whole life to hear, but they came too late. After too much damage. I took a breath, let it out slowly. "Do you know what it's like?" I started quietly. "To spend your entire life feeling invisible? To achieve something amazing and have no one notice? To work yourself to the bone and watch people you love celebrate someone else's mediocrity like it's a miracle?" They both flinched but didn't interrupt. "I got my MBA while working full-time. Did you even know that? Did you ask? I graduated at the top of my class. No one came to my graduation. Brandon had a basketball game. My voice was steady, calm, but years of pain poured out. I paid off $60,000 in student loans by the time I was 28. I bought my apartment with money I saved, $1 at a time, for 5 years. Everything I have, I earned. Everything I achieved, I did alone. And you told people you gave it to me, You told people my success was because of your sacrifices. My father closed his eyes, shame written across his face. And when you needed money, suddenly I mattered. Suddenly I existed. Every emergency was urgent until I sent the check. Then silence until the next crisis. I was a walking ATM, not a daughter. You're right, my mother whispered. Everything you're saying is right. That dinner, I continued. That wasn't about the dinner. It was about every missed graduation, every forgotten birthday, every time I needed you and you weren't there. It was about being told, explicitly, that I'm not your priority. After years of feeling it, you finally said it out loud. We were wrong, my father said again. So completely wrong. I know you were. The question is, what now? Before they could answer, before any of us could process what came next, Brandon appeared. None of us had invited him. He just materialized at the edge of our picnic area, looking worse than I'd ever seen him. Unshaven, clothes wrinkled, eyes wild. So this is it, he said, voice loud and aggressive. Family meeting without me? Making me the villain. Brandon. My father started to stand. You shouldn't be here. Where should I be? At home? Oh, wait. I'm losing that. At work? Don't have one. With my family? They're here, cutting me off. He stumbled slightly. Was he drunk? This is all your fault. He pointed at me. If you'd just helped me one more time, if you'd just been a decent sister instead of a selfish, money-hoarding... Brandon, stop. My mother stood now too, but Brandon was spiraling. Words tumbling out in a torrent of blame and rage. I'm losing everything. The condo, the car, the license. My life is falling apart, and none of you care. You all promised you'd always help me. You said family takes care of family. We did help you, my father said. His voice surprisingly firm. For years. We helped you so much we destroyed you. We kept you from growing up. We robbed you of the chance to be a man. I'm 28 years old and I have nothing. Brandon's voice cracked. Nothing. Because every time you were about to face a consequence, we stepped in. My father continued. Every time you were about to fail, we caught you. We thought we were loving you. We weren't. We were crippling you. So what? You're just going to abandon me now. No, my mother said firmly. We're going to get you help. Real help. You have a gambling addiction. You have substance issues. You need treatment. I'm fine, Brandon shouted, but he swayed as he said it. You're not fine, I said quietly. All eyes turned to me. You're in crisis. You've been in crisis for years, but instead of facing it, you've been blaming everyone else. Me for not giving you more money, Mom and Dad for not giving you more help, the world for not handing you success. Easy for you to say. Brandon turned his rage on me fully now. You always were Dad's favorite. You always got everything easy. Easy. I stood up, moved around the table. I worked 2 jobs through college. I studied until 2 a.m. most nights for my MBA. I missed parties and trips and relationships because I was building something. You think that was easy? You think you're so perfect. I think I'm tired. Tired of being blamed for your failures. Tired of being punished for my successes. Tired of watching you manipulate Mom and Dad while resenting me for not enabling you harder. Brandon's face twisted. I needed help. I was drowning. You were drowning because you kept jumping in the deep end and refusing to learn to swim. My voice rose despite myself, and every time someone threw you a life preserver, you used it to pull them under with you. He lunged forward, not violently but aggressively, and my father stepped between us immediately. Brandon, stop, right now. Get out of my way. No, my father's voice was steel. You need to leave. Now. Before this gets worse. You're choosing her over me? After everything. I'm not choosing anyone. I'm telling my adult son that he needs to leave this park and go home and sober up. Brandon looked at each of us in turn, my father standing firm. my mother crying but not moving to comfort him. Me standing my ground, Linda watching from nearby, ready to call security if needed. Fine, he spat. Fine, I don't need any of you. Ill, figure it out myself. Good, my father said quietly. You should have been doing that all along. Brandon stormed off, shouting threats and insults over his shoulder. Empty ones, the tantrum of a man-child who'd never been forced to grow up. When he was gone, when the echo of his anger faded into the park sounds around us, my father sat down heavily, like his legs couldn't hold him anymore. My God, he whispered. What have we done to him? My mother sat beside him. Taking his hand, we enabled a monster. We thought we were loving him. We ruined him. Linda approached carefully. He needs professional help. Serious help. Addiction treatment at minimum. Probably therapy for years. We'll get it for him, my father said. Even if we have to have him committed. He's not going to die or end up in jail because we failed him again. I sat back down across from them. We all looked shell-shocked. He admitted it, my mother said softly. The gambling, the drinking, all of it. And instead of taking responsibility, he blamed everyone else. That's addiction, Linda said gently. That's what it does. It makes you the villain in your own story so you don't have to face the truth. We sat in silence for a long moment. Finally, I spoke. I don't know if I can have a relationship with you. Not right now. Maybe not ever. The damage is too deep. The trust is too broken. My parents nodded, accepting. But, I continued, I'm willing to see if it's possible. Slowly. With boundaries. With honesty. If you're willing to do the work, well, do whatever it takes. My father said immediately. Family therapy, I said. With a professional. Not just talking it out ourselves. Real therapy. Where we address the patterns, the enabling, the favoritism, all of it. Yes, my mother agreed. And no financial requests. Ever. I'm not your backup plan. I'm not your safety net. You made your choices. You face the consequences. Understood. And Brandon is not my responsibility. I'm not helping him. I'm not giving him money. I'm not giving him chances. That's on you. You enabled him. You fix it. We will. I promise. Linda stepped forward. I'll help facilitate. Monthly check-ins. Structured conversations. Building trust incrementally, if everyone agrees. We all nodded. It wasn't forgiveness. It wasn't reconciliation. It was the barest possibility of hope, the thinnest thread connecting what had been to what might someday be. But it was something. As I drove home that evening, I felt lighter than I had in years. Not because everything was fixed. It wasn't. The damage was profound. The healing would take years if it happened at all. But Id said what I needed to say. Id set boundaries that mattered. Id stood my ground, and for the first time in my life, my parents had actually listened. 6 months later, my life looked completely different. I stood in my apartment, freshly redecorated to actually reflect who I was. Not just some minimalist space I'd never felt deserving of. Rich teal walls in the living room. Art Id bought from local galleries. Bookshelves full of novels Id actually had time to read. Plants that Id managed to keep alive for 6 whole months. A personal record. The place finally felt like home. My phone buzzed. Marcus, texting a photo of the sunset from his balcony. We'd been dating for 4 months now, taking it slow, building something real. He was a graphic designer, kind, funny, completely drama-free, no family chaos, no manipulation. Just a decent man who actually showed up when he said he would. Novel concept. I texted back a heart emoji, then checked my calendar. Dinner with Emily tonight. Our monthly sister date, cautious but genuine, rebuilding trust one conversation at a time. Emily was 9 months sober from gambling, actually sober, attending meetings, seeing a therapist twice a week. She'd gotten a part-time job at a bookstore. was slowly repaying her debts. Her marriage with Jake had survived, stronger somehow for having been tested. Shed looked me in the eye last month and said, "Thank you for not saving me. I needed to save myself." That alone had been worth everything. My parents were different people now. They'd sold their house, moved into a small 2-bedroom apartment across town, both working. My mother at the local library, my father doing consulting work on the side. They were paying down their debts slowly, methodically. No quick fixes, no bailouts. We had dinner together once a month, carefully structured. Aunt Linda often present as a buffer. They asked about my work now, remembered details about my life, showed up emotionally in ways they never had before. It wasn't perfect. Sometimes old patterns tried to resurface. Sometimes my mother's guilt-tripping instincts kicked in. But my father would catch it now, gently redirect. They were learning, growing, becoming the parents they should have been all along. Too late for my childhood, but maybe not too late for my future. Brandon was in treatment, a state-funded facility. 90 days that had turned into 6 months. Had been diagnosed with gambling addiction, alcohol dependency, and depression. The road ahead was long, measured in years, not months. Had written me a letter 2 months ago, an apology, raw and honest, taking actual responsibility for his actions. I'd read it 3 times, cried through the second reading, and put it in a drawer. I hadn't responded yet. Maybe I would someday. Maybe I wouldn't. And that was okay. My healing didn't require me to absolve him. My work life had exploded in the best possible way. The marketing campaign had been leading launched to incredible success. My team had grown from 5 people to 12. Patricia had been talking about grooming me for senior vice president in the next 2 years. I'd finally started investing the money I wasn't sending to my family, built an emergency fund that actually felt secure. Booked a trip to Italy for next month. Something I'd dreamed about for years but never felt like I deserved. Turned out I deserved a lot of things I'd been denying myself. Tonight was special. I'd organized a celebration dinner. Not for my promotion, that ship had sailed, but for me, for the person I'd become, for the life I'd built, for having the courage to walk away and the strength to decide what came next. I'd invited my real support system, Jessica and Rachel, my best friends, who'd stood by me through everything. Patricia, my mentor and champion. Aunt Linda, who'd become more mother to me than my actual mother had been. Emily, supervised visit. Trust still rebuilding but genuine. And Marcus, the man who'd shown me what healthy love looked like. We met at the harbor view, full circle. Back to where the worst night of my life had happened. George was still working there. And when I'd made the reservation, I'd requested his section. When we arrived, he grinned and led us to a table with the best view in the restaurant. "I remember you," he said warmly. "The young woman dining alone 6 months ago. You look different. I am different. Good different. Happy different. The evening was perfect. Good food. Better conversation. Genuine laughter. These people saw me. Actually saw me. Not for what I could give them, but for who I was." Over dessert, Patricia stood and raised her glass. "To Angelita, who taught us all that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away. Who showed us that self-respect isn't selfish, it's necessary. Who proved that you can love people and still refuse to be used by them." Everyone raised their glasses, clinked them together, drank to my courage. Then Emily stood, tears in her eyes. "To my sister, who saved my life by refusing to save me, who loved me enough to let me fall so I could learn to stand, who taught me that enabling isn't love, it's fear. Thank you for being brave enough to say no." More tears around the table, more toasts, more genuine affection than I'd felt at any family gathering in my entire life. Later, alone in my apartment, I pulled out my journal, the one I'd been keeping since that terrible night 6 months ago. Flipped through pages of pain and processing, anger and growth, hurt and healing. I wrote a final entry for this chapter of my life. They texted that I wasn't their priority. At the time, it felt like the worst thing anyone could say to me. Now I see it was the truth I needed to hear. I wasn't their priority. It'd never been. And I'd spent my whole life trying to change that, trying to be good enough, successful enough, helpful enough to finally matter. But the problem wasn't me. It was them. And more importantly, it was me, allowing them to treat me that way. That text forced me to face what I'd been avoiding. I'd been participating in my own invisibility by always being available, always helping, always swallowing my hurt and showing up anyway. I'd taught them that my needs didn't matter. When I finally said no, when I finally walked away, I didn't do it to punish them. I did it to save myself. And in saving myself, I gave them the chance to save themselves too, to face their choices, to deal with consequences, to decide who they wanted to be. Some of them rose to the challenge. My parents are trying, genuinely trying, to be better. Emily faced her demons and came out the other side stronger. Brandon is getting help. Finally. But even if none of them had changed, even if they'd all doubled down on blaming me, it'd still be okay. Because I learned the most important lesson. I became my own priority. And that changed everything. Family is supposed to be your foundation, not your burden. Real love empowers you to grow, doesn't guilt you into giving. And sometimes the greatest act of love is stepping back and letting people face their own consequences. I found my worth not in what I could give, but in having the courage to stop giving it away. I closed the journal and looked at the photo on my wall. My grandmother, young and vibrant, taken before I was born. Shed always told me, never shrink yourself to make others comfortable. Never apologize for taking up space. Never let anyone convince you that your worth is in what you can do for them. I'd spent 32 years not understanding what she meant. Now I did. Monday morning, I walked into my office, past the nameplate that read Angelita Rodriguez, Vice President of Marketing, sat at my desk, opened my laptop, checked my email. There was one from my mother. Subject line: just thinking of you. I opened it carefully, wary of manipulation. Angelita, I hope your weekend was good. I saw on social media that you had a celebration dinner. I'm so glad you were surrounded by people who love you. I just wanted to say I'm proud of you. Not for your job or your accomplishments, though those are impressive. I'm proud of you for having the strength to walk away when we failed you, for knowing your worth when we forgot it, for being brave enough to demand better. You deserved better from us. You always did. I'm sorry it took losing you to make us see that. I'm not asking for anything, just wanted you to know I'm thinking of you. I'm proud of you. And I love you. Mom, I read it twice. No requests. No guilt. No manipulation. Just honesty. I typed a short response. Thank you. I appreciate that. See you at our next dinner. Saved it to drafts. I'd send it later. After I'd thought about it. After I'd checked with my therapist. Yes. I'd started seeing one too. Processing years of family dysfunction, but for now, I looked out my window at the city skyline, at the bright October morning spreading out before me, at the life I'd built from the ashes of what had been. I wasn't their priority, and that was okay, because I was finally my own. The phone that had once held 30 missed calls of panic now held notifications of genuine connection. Lunch with Patricia, coffee with Emily, movie night with Jessica and Rachel, date night with Marcus. People who showed up, people who saw me, people who valued me for who I was, not what I could give. I smiled, turned back to my computer, dove into work I loved, in a role I'd earned, in a life I'd fought for. Someone once told me that you teach people how to treat you. I'd spent 32 years teaching my family that I didn't matter except when they needed something. It took losing them to teach myself something different. that I mattered always, that my needs were valid, that my presence was a gift, not a given. And anyone who couldn't see that didn't deserve access to my life. Family is supposed to be the people who celebrate your victories, not just the ones who show up for their own parties. Real love shows up. Real love remembers. Real love doesn't have a price tag. I found that love, just not where I'd been looking for it. I found it in friends who became family, in mentors who became guides, in a partner who became a safe harbor. And most importantly, I found it in myself. So to anyone listening who feels invisible in their own family, who feels like an ATM in their relationships, who keeps giving pieces of themselves until nothing remains, your worth is not in what you give, it's in who you are. And sometimes, the bravest, most loving thing you can do is walk away. Let people face their consequences. Let them figure out their own problems. Let them learn that you're a person, not a resource. It might break your heart. It might cost you relationships. It might make you the villain in someone else's story. But it will save your life. And in the end, that's all that really matters. I texted that I wasn't their priority right now. They were right. I wasn't, but I became my own priority. And that changed absolutely everything. Have you ever had to set boundaries with family that felt impossible? Have you been in a situation where you realized you were being taken for granted? I'd love to hear your stories in the comments below. Sometimes knowing we're not alone in these struggles makes all the difference. If this story resonated with you, please consider hitting the like button and sharing it with someone who might need to hear it. And if you want more stories about finding strength in difficult situations, don't forget to subscribe. Your support means the world to me. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for being here. May you always know your worth. May you always have the courage to walk away from what diminishes you. And may you always find your way back to yourself. Until next time, take care of yourselves. You deserve it.